Last October, there was a lot of instances that happened with our group member, Nina.
Yo, you might be fucking retarded, bro. Are you good in the head? Take it off. Hey, yo, cut the cameras. Yo, cut the cameras, bro. Don't do your shit.
You know, one of the things that made it hard for us to continue as a group was that it always had to be her way. And it would always be, well, I'm gonna do with me. Time and time again, like, hey, you know, we are trying to hold what we thought was a friend accountable, and that friend says we're not being friends because we're trying to hold them accountable.
Well, I darn near forgot about Nina Lynn, but it seems as though the rain is continuing to pour on her. Just a year ago, she seemed to have one of the most bubbling and bright careers in the new streaming era. Collaborations with Agent, appearances on Streamer University, connections with the FaZe guys.
I think I've seen her around, I ain't gonna lie.
Group channel, 03, that was actually doing very, very well with some very prominent members. But within a year, all of that went away, and it was due to one thing and one thing only: her inability to hold herself accountable for her actions, apologize, do the work, and ultimately move on. So when her group decided to put out a video talking about how they decided to part ways from her, I thought it would be a perfect time.
I ain't gonna lie though. I don't think they should have made a video about it. Two grown ass men like basically ganging up on a woman. I don't know about that. They could have sat her ass down and shit, been on some father-daughter type shit, conversation type shit, and got over with that shit,
your
bro.
Digital footprint. And at the end of the day, accountability trumps all. If you're new to this channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'm gonna hold you guys accountable. You're consuming content from me. The least you
How fast? I'm gonna hold your ass accountable too, man. How you watching this and ain't hitting the subscribe button? How you ain't hit the like button yet? Comment something. How you doing today? The hell wrong with you, bro? Let me know.
Do is click that little subscribe button down below. It will go a long way for this community. Now, back into the video. Like I said, Nina Lynn had a sweet deal. Most content creators have to come up by themselves, build their own audience, build their own brand. And not taking it away from her, she did that in her own regards. But she quickly was able to team up with two very solid YouTubers, Jimmy Zhang, who has 1 million subscribers, and Edward So, who basically has 1 million subscribers, in order to create.
I don't know, neither one of them, I ain't gonna lie.
03. They would do IRL lifestyle content, dating style challenges, you know, the typical 20v1 AMP-esque videos. And this, coupled along with her appearances with people like Fan or Wendy Ortiz, meant that Nina Lynn pretty much had a fast track to being one of the biggest names in not just streaming, but content creation as a whole. I think one very underrated thing about Nina is her background. I'm talking about her ethnicity, nationality, and her race. She was going to be somebody
Asian, right? She look Asian, shit.
A whole Eastern culture that those in the United States could not do. In fact, she acted as some sort of medium / translator for content creators in the past because they needed her to basically gain access to that whole culture that has billions of people in it. But instead of nurturing this opportunity that she had, Nina ultimately squandered it. Over the past year, Nina Lynn has been in controversy after controversy after controversy after controversy. And I'm not gonna go into super depth about it. I've made plenty of videos, whether it be her just being a general nuisance at a nail salon.
She got thoughts on it. The nail salon is crazy.
She just had
already on some childish shit, I think,
in her body, and definitely a situation where she not only participated in
that
essay,
Reggie,
but also then went on to deny the essay over and over again. Now, off top, controversy isn't something that is like career ending. We've seen different content creators go through many different controversies, some that I would say are way worse than what Nina even went through, but have ultimately bounced back from those things. They've then gone on to have bigger, better, greater careers than even before they were in said controversy. But if I had to say the one thing that would define if you are going to bounce back and then bounce up out of this atmosphere, or bounce up and then bounce down through the floor when it comes to being a controversial figure, is one thing and one thing alone, and that's accountability for your actions.
Right.
You somebody, you shoplifted. Can we tone it down? All of that, just like,
damn, she shoplifted? Oh hell no. They okay, maybe I was wrong. You can't talk to her. You can't tell her shit. If you had to tell her to tone it down from shoplifting, that's a whole nother level of doing too fucking much, gang. Fuck out of here. Gotta let you go.
That to a mom who's out in the salon.
Hell no.
Maybe it's not okay to do that at Target. Maybe it's not okay to do that to a taxi driver. There's a lot of things that weren't okay, and it would
damn,
always be,
disrespecting taxi drivers and stuff is crazy.
Hey, we are trying to hold what we thought was a friend accountable, and that friend says we're not being friends because we're trying to hold them accountable.
That's crazy.
Brown or white sugar was involved in this coding because they kept it pretty straightforward. Nina Lynn is somebody that we don't have the same values, morals, and principles as, and therefore we are going to go ahead and sever ties with her. According to the
and if you got a partner or a homegirl or you got some homies, that you feel like you need to hold them accountable for certain shit, and when you try to do it, they try to say you being lame or fake, bro. Get the fuck from around them folks, man. Cause if you can't help them, then nobody can. You supposed to be they day one word locked in, right? Best friend, this and that, homeboy, whatever. You supposed to be able to tell them anything, no sugarcoating them nothing. Word, and they feelings should be uninvolved because you got their best interest. You see what I'm saying? If not, bro, then get the fuck away from them people.
Other members
Facts.
of the group
Get back from there. Ain't no
constantly
way.
wanted to do things her way, was the loudest one in every single argument. She struggled to see other people's perspectives, and they could not come to an agreement on what they stood for. In other words, it wasn't just one mistake, but it was the problem as to how she handled every single mistake. Shameless plug, and I'm gonna sound like a broken record every single time I say this, but you know, some people don't know that I did these things in my past, and also I like to give my real world experience as to how things go on behind the scenes. But I did work for a big group, one of the biggest groups on the internet right now. I'll give you a little bit of secret. It's 3 letters. It features 6 guys. AMP. And I also
Damn, he worked for AMP? I didn't know that. I've never seen him before in my life.
A group channel as well, where I have 2 other co-hosts. And I'm here to tell you that the behind the scenes things that O3 said that they struggled with Nina Lynn are things that happen in every single group. There's constantly going to be bickering. There's going to be people who are super creative trying to come to one conclusion, and somebody's going to be very loud in the conversation as to why their POV is the better way to go in this particular time. And as far as vision goes, hell, life changes those things. So oftentimes people aren't aligned as to what they're gonna do in the next year, 2 years, or hell, 6 months even. But at the end of the day, the reason why AMP is still around, my podcast, the Let's Keep It a Buck podcast is still around, the Sidemen are still around, or any other group content is still around is because accountability and compromise are something that continuously happen in those organizations. And I don't even have to be a part of them to know
I
that.
gotta mature together, bro.
Needs to be read, and my
that shit come with maturity, man.
The podcast needs to be blue. Ultimately, somebody needs to come to a compromise, and it can't always be my way or the highway. Otherwise, it's not a group channel, it's somebody's solo project with some reoccurring castmates. And if you're gonna do that, gang, then I might as well stay on my own damn platform and do whatever I want to do. No, that's just the surface level stuff. There's also the fact that there's an accountability issue every time that Nina Lynn gets into some sort of scandal. Here's the truth about the internet. Creators can survive just about anything, any situation, any sorts of adversity, any bad problems, as long as they are self-aware about how they participated in that action. We've seen public mistakes, bad behavior, bad tweets, scandals. The list goes on and on and on. Hell, I even think it's a problem in today's society that we are so forgiving, but that's just the reality of what it is. But the problem is when faced with those things that I just mentioned, if you're arrogant and your ego is forthcoming in all of these situations, then you're not gonna have a bunch of fans who will support you going forward. And these are some of the criticisms of Nina Lynn as told by
I feel it, bro. I don't know, bro. For some reason, I want to feel like she ain't trying to be this way. But shit, I don't know, bro. Should have just been telling her the whole time. Maybe they have been trying to tell the whole time that she is on the wrong road, bro. Because I'm pretty sure it done got to the point where she believe this is who she truly is, her personality, and whoever ain't willing to accept that can get the fuck on. She probably feel like this ain't a lose situation for her, but really it is. That's crazy.
And oftentimes she doubles down in said behavior.
I be holding Ron accountable for shit. I be holding the Dap accountable for shit. They be holding me accountable for shit. As a group, you gotta come together, hold each other accountable.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're not always right, man. And selfish people in a group would never work out, man. Facts.
You would never see me in a car with Jason Louis.
I get that. You beef with him too?
No, he beef with me. I don't beef with him. Because everyone's bitch made. What do you want me to do? You bitch made. It is what it is, bro. Like, what do you want me to do? I can't lie.
What is she talking about? Why is she talking like that? Bitch made. You bitch made. What's she from? Like, you hanging around niggas like this. They all bitch made. I'm just saying. Keep it on it. What the hell? Bro, you in the streamer world, bro. You in the YouTube world. You in the content world. Everybody bitch made. You want to go to the hood, go to the hood. Shane, you want to go to the project, go to the projects, gang. What you doing?
Stuff like that is where the controversy stops being entertaining and starts becoming exhausting. When you start to be known for things like that, then ultimately people are going to want to move away from you. They're not going to want to
out of there. Exit out.
Because their community has issue with you. You know, people don't like to continuously see these arrogant people, you know, be content creators, et cetera, especially because a lot of these content creators are fan funded in the first place. Like the subscriptions and the watch time is all done by fans. Why would I want to watch somebody who is some sort of arrogant asshole? But also
Exactly.
other content creators will move away from
Sabotaging
you
that
because they're
shit,
annoying,
man.
and the fan perspective is just lost. You slowly start to burn those bridges over time. And then it becomes a sort of situation where people start to feel like they are guilty by association. And honestly, I think that that's a fair and valid criticism. I know that there's been some conversation about that this past weekend, about hanging out with streamers who do controversial things as somebody who is a non-controversial
They're all
streamer. But ultimately,
been on the damn
people are going to start
downward heel his
questioning
damn
who
self,
you
bro.
align
Tripping
with
out,
as
bro.
a
Got his
content
video come
creator.
up
If you're
next.
a controversial streamer and you keep going wild and you keep going crazy, somebody who is just a simple desktop reactor who is, you know, pretty nonchalant and chill is not going to want to be seen with you. Because if they are seen with you, audiences are going to start to speculate and question where your value is.
Yo,
This
come on,
conversation to
man.
me isn't about
Cameraman, bugging out.
shoplifting or arguments or viral clips or, you know, just the other outrageous and controversial things that people say. Everybody on the internet is not perfect. Hell, I do wild stuff, you know, from time to time. But at the end of the day, if you can acknowledge where you mess up, apologize for the things that you say, and then look to grow afterwards, then I think that everybody's okay with you being a simple human being. But if you
Right.
double and triple down on those things, gaslight people, and
Bullshitting.
then ultimately
You
shit on
bullshitting.
not only just your fan base, but the other fan bases around you, that's when people have a problem. Now, do I think that this is the end of Nina Lynn? Absolutely not. Maybe for videos on this channel, unless she does some of the most absolute insane shit in the world, then of course.
Nah, she'll be alright, man. She's gotta mature a little bit. Get used to this shit. Get used to having shit, man. Most motherfuckers ain't used to having shit, man.
POV where they're giving videos for Nina Lynn. I think she's losing something that is much more detrimental. That network that she had, the one that allowed her to go to these big and major events and be broadcasted to a much wider audience. Nina Lynn
It'll
got
be alright.
something that
She can get her out the mud.
begged
Shit,
for, an
find something to
opportunity,
do.
a chance, a platform, and a network that afforded her endless opportunities in this content creation field. And she squandered it because she couldn't take accountability for clear mistakes that she had done in her past. And I hope that this serves as some sort of lesson for any other content creators going forward. The internet is very, very, very forgiving, but you have to be willing to do something for that forgiveness and not be a dickhead and an asshole.
That's a fact. Damn, that's real. I ain't gonna lie. Shit. Hope she get that shit together, man. Like I said, my take on this shit is accountability gotta come at some point. You gotta grow the fuck up at some point, bro. Can't be out here doing childish shit, saying I'm sorry and then not changing it. That shit don't work like that. And if you got a homeboy or homegirl, or your girlfriend or your mom or your dad or your grandpa who ain't taking your accountability when you know damn well you got their best interest at heart while saying that shit, bro, move around. Don't let them hinder you. It's over with.